Hey, let's get started. So, yeah, I feel a bit weird because I can't see any chat. I don't know why. How can I do this? Well, whatever. Um so yeah, I should be able to see myself in this live thingy. Yeah. I want to see the chat, please. Chat. Yay! Okay. Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, I think my mic is working okay. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day. And so what's better to do than doing Python? I'm just joking. Yeah, we're in lockdown still, so I don't have anything to do. I do have some roses. Well, it's not sent by anybody. You're welcome to send me a gift, but I have grown some roses actually a few weeks ago. So I bought like a pot of flower. Oh, I should have put it here so I can show you. But yeah, I have some roses growing in my flat. So I'm fine. I have flowers and chocolate. I always have chocolate with me. I have chocolate. Like, okay, advertisement not allowed, but anyway. Um, yeah, yeah, so that's my Valentine's Day. And Python, yay! So yeah, today we're gonna look at the standard library of Python because I think that I got inspiration from someone else. Sorry, I forgot because I just, when I was doing some research for work, I just see this yeah, someone was talking about standard library. So yeah, I think it's a good idea to have a look at the standard library. I think because we have used it many times, or you haven't like used it before, or you have only used a small portion of it, and you don't know that, oh, actually there's something there that I could use, but I didn't know that I have installed something to get me like do it, but actually a lot of times you don't have to install it. For example, I use pandas to handle CSV and all this stuff a lot. It's a very good tool, but actually in the standard library, there's a built-in library that help you to deal with CSV. Is not the same as pandas, which you have data frame and all these things that you could do, but it lets you to read CSV, to write CSV, to read CSV as a dictionary or things like that. But yeah, so it's really good, but you rarely use it because you didn't know that it exists. So let's have a look today and see what we can find. So we look at, okay, by the way, python.org, usually I just jump in to look at the docs or anything, but actually I know that they have a job spot there. Actually is quite good if you're looking for Python jobs. I think they're quite good listing there. Also is international, so yeah, so London, I mean, like, well, I'm looking for jobs right now, but there are a few jobs in London, a few in Europe, and some in US as well. Even South Africa they have post here. So yeah, so that's amazing. If your company is hiring, you can also use the job board here. Yeah, so just to let you know, like I just came across it. But anyway, just jump in and we'll see what standard libraries do we have. Oh, I forgot to get my tea or coffee or whatever. My flow may get a little bit dry, but hopefully I will survive. So yeah, we have a lot. We have library of reference. Keep this under your pillow. Yes, we have to. Yeah, so let's see what we have. And then, yeah, the Python standard library. So yeah, so I think too long don't read. It's just that we always import stuff, right? So import extra kind of component to use it with our Python. So otherwise, like, it's limited of like we're limited to what we can do with just Python itself. We could maybe do some simple mathematics. We could do some simple stuff, but you don't want to write everything just with Python. So we always import extra library to do stuff, and standard library is kind of the batteries included ones that whenever you download Python you will have them and you don't have to pip install them. So it's included. So there are a lot of things. It lets you do a lot of yeah. So in addition, so yeah, I think most of us know that you can pip install stuff, but these ones are the ones that you don't have to install. You see that I have some of them. I've visited them before because I always keep this as a reference. But yeah, there are lots of things that these some stuff that we use more. For example, exceptions. For example, I'm writing some custom warnings or custom exceptions, errors, then I would use this. Also built-in type, if yeah, you're checking type and stuff, you may use that. But there are lots of things that we, regular expression, I think we've covered that a long time ago. That something that we use a lot, but of course there's also these like tax wrap, all these things like you didn't know that it exists. Um, Sorry, I'm a bit tired today. I think I don't have enough coffee. That's why I say that. I forgot my coffee. That's true. Um, yeah, numeric and mathematical methods. This ones. I think math is quite a common one. Randoms as well, but there are also other things. But complex number, I think this one like people rarely use it, right? Like complex number, who is dealing with that? Except like you, maybe if you're a researcher, then maybe you have to use it. Data types. So a copy. This one I use quite a lot, so I know that types as well. Pprint is super handy. I would go for that as well, because like in case you didn't know that you can print out a dictionary in a very like nice way. Abstract based classes. I think we have covered that a few weeks ago. Daytime again. This is like something very common. I think I would go over like them. I mean like you know um numbers. Yep. What else? Iter tool. So yeah. Well, it go back to like about iterators, generators, all this stuff. So we do have iter tools, which will be super handy. And file handling, yeah, we use that quite a lot, I guess. Like if you have, yeah, for example, os.path, those things. Um, so yeah, it kind of, but we better have a better look as well. Yeah, path, all this stuff. Data persistence, Pickle is something that I think a lot of Python users know, and it's kind of a love-hate thing with Pickle, because Pickle is very convenient to use, but at the same time it got its own drawback that sometimes saving things in Pickle is not the best thing to do. Um, SQLite 3, there's a built-in SQLite. I didn't know that. Yeah, interface to Unix databases, all this stuff. I didn't know that these exist actually, so this is quite amazing. Yeah, yeah. Also, this clip, this like compressing things. Like I think I've seen a few of them. Yeah, this one caused me some problem before. I'm using some kind of macOS with some version of Python that I don't know, something is wrong with this. So I kind of I've seen them for some time. CSV, like the one that I said that it could deal with CSV files. So if you don't want to use pandas, you don't have to use pandas. Um, all these as well. Other file formats, which I think the others are not so popular. But yeah, we'll have a look later. Hopefully we have time. Uh, Cryptographic service. So I've never used that. Yeah, something for hashing, I guess. Secrets. Yeah, these things. I don't use them so much. And yeah, what else? Generic, yeah, OS, we've used IO as well, time, yeah, these ones are more common, I guess. Logging, I've tried to use logging before, not extensively, just a little bit, like, it's very convenient, like, just to, push thing into logs, and then, instead of, have your own way of logging things, it provides a lot of tools that you can do it very easily. Threading, this multiprocessing, these are more like advanced things that I think I won't be showing because I don't know much about them. Concurrent. So yeah, these are more like advanced stuff. Yeah, if you know, yeah, doing like threading all this stuff. Yeah, I don't know much, so not touching that. Async, yeah, async is something that I think we have uh, briefly talk about. Context, yeah, context variables. I think I've seen it, but I haven't really used it. What else we have? Yeah, so these are like SSL these days, and then you have sockets. So yeah, that's cool. Internet data handling. So these are all these like base64, yeah, all this stuff as well. JSON, I use it quite a lot because yeah, I've dealt with JSON a lot recently. So HTML as well. So you have XML parser and all this stuff. Good to know. I've never like touched that, and quite surprised that they have it. Internet protocols. Yeah, URL lib is again something quite common. Web browser controller. Yeah, we will have a look at like what they can offer. I'm thinking like we'll find something interesting inside all these things. This is so huge. Yeah, I think we have to be selective and pick something that looks interesting to look at, because otherwise we would spend hours and hours doing this. Unless you want to have another episode doing this, but I think yeah, it's just I'll just have a look at some of these and to see what they have, because it's so big. Say in the library, like all these stuff are included in your Python, and you rarely use it. Can you believe that? Um, you ID all this stuff. You see it quite a lot in the error message, but you never know what it is, right? Yeah, all this stuff and then multimedia. Yeah, this also something that's very cool, but I've never like I'm not a multimedia you know engineer, so I have no idea about this stuff. But I think some of you may know it better than me. So yeah, internationalization. So it deal with like multi languages. I think locate. Huh, that's interesting. Turtle, yay! Okay, who doesn't know about like come on, like turtle is like okay. So what is turtle? Turtle is a oh, I am out of focus. Hello, I don't know why. Okay. Anyway, you have to deal with the blur version of me. I'm pretty. Yeah, pretty. Yeah. Okay. Turtle graphics. So it's actually a tool that is included in Python to teach kids how to use Python. So yeah, it's a very fun kind of game stuff. Like, yeah, people treat it as a toy, but we will have a look. It's better if we just have a look. It's difficult to explain just here. Command lines as well. Cool. Um, Limited command interpreter. Yeah, these are cool. Lexical analysis. Yeah, some of these like I have no idea even like these are too something that's advanced or very specific that I've never used. PyDoc, yeah, typing PyDoc. Yeah, these are like again like this is unit test. We have come across this quite a lot. There's also 2 to 3. We have like a Python 2 to 3 code translation as well. Mock, um, doc test, uh, bad file descriptor, error example. Wow. Development mode. Ooh, okay, these are very effective. Yeah, these are very interesting topics as well. Debug. Oh, BDB. So this is something that PDB and yeah, these two like PDB like yeah, I should use more because like when you debug, a lot of people, including me, sometimes we just print out what's some intermediate result, and actually there a better way of doing it is use PDB to insert a breakpoint there. So the program will just like freeze at that point, and then it will prompt back to you, and then you can inspect what's going on internally using that. But sometimes you're just lazy and then don't use it. Time it, yeah. So I think some Jupyter Notebook user knows it because they said, oh yes, it's a magic. You can time things. So time it is exactly the same thing. Like that you can also use it because it's included in Python. VN, VN, and yeah, sometimes like, oh yeah, a virtual environment, like what should I download, what should I use it, which one are the best? Well, if you don't want to download anything, just use VM. There's so many things that's included in here. Um, sys, yeah, sys is like you use it quite a lot as well, system thing, and yeah, context lib, data classes. So yeah, again, like this is something that we have came across ABC, we've came across them before. Inspect, yeah, GC, so garbage collectors. So this is something that's like again advanced. I'm not touching them. Future statement definitions. Yeah, future. Yeah. Again, this is something you may have heard about it, but you have never really looked into it. Module finder. Yeah. Oh my God. This is like package util. Yeah, this is quite cool. Like all this stuff. Import lib. So yeah, this is like where import is sitting. So import lib. You can actually, I think, yeah, if you're really being crazy, you can kind of changing them, like using the metadata and change how import behave, maybe. AST as well. Yep, abstract syntax tree. You can see like what's going on in Python internally. Yeah, this assembler. So you can see the bytecode there. Yeah, now it's getting like deep into the internal Python thing. Parser, token, keywords, testing for Python keywords. Tokenizer. So this is like kind of helping how like Python work, I think. Formatter. I'm not sure. So there are Windows specific things as well. I'm not touching them because I'm not using Windows. So I don't know Unix. So these ones are the one like yeah, PWD part something. I think I've used some of these, some maybe without me thinking. But anyway, yeah, these are the Unix ones. Yeah, maybe yeah, the process system calls. Yeah, okay. Not touching those. Yeah, there are also other things. Okay, there's so many things. So where should we start? Maybe we should start with oh, I don't know, maybe something that we would somehow use. Looks and availability. Okay. Right. So built-in type. So maybe we'll have a quick look. So is yeah. So like inside there's like stalling all these kind of things for a built-in Python type thing. Um, yeah. So the built-in type, the principal built-in type. So it's like the mother group. There are numeric, sequence, mapping, classes, instance, and exceptions. So so for example, like integer and float, they are numerics, and the sequence will be list. Those things. Mappings will be if you create a you can create a mapping object. Like if you do a filter or you do a map, then you create a mapping object. Classes, instances like this ones, I think we know, and then exceptions will be those error things. So yeah, and then so it kind of provided in there. Yeah, so with all of these different types, some of them have like specific specific operations, but some of them is more generic. For example, R, EPR, and it's just like how you convert it to a string. Um, yeah, or like print or something. Like it's used by print to print out the object actually. So, or how to check equality, whether it's equal or how is it true. So all these stuff that like is here. So yeah, you see the Boolean operations, all this stuff. So we quickly go through them. Comparisons. So how could you compare two objects? Like it's more straightforward if it's a number, of course, or if it's a string, then you can well maybe compare the characters. Like kind of maybe like a dictionary, compare the alphabetical order and things like that. But or S key, change it to S key number and compare them. You can do that as well. Um, but yeah, but for some more abstract kind of other classes, like how could you define, something is less than something, then you can actually write something like write a function to do that to like, so it replaced the operation with that. Yeah, numeric types. Yeah, so these are like I won't go through the details. I'll just try to go through the like skim through it, and then if people really think that this is interested, I can like do my episodes or even like change this into a talk or something. Um, Numeric types, so yeah, like integer, floats, and complex. Almost forget there's complex number, which like normal people won't use it except you're a researcher. Um, yeah, so there are all this stuff, mathematical operations, so you can kind of define them and this stuff. But these are again like operations. Also, there are math operations in math, which we'll come across them a little bit later. Also, bitwise operations. So this one's rarely used by people. This like if you are dealing with something more like um, I don't know. The only time that I've seen this like bitwise operation is uh, we were writing something like in Circuit Python or something that we have limited because we are writing something for an IoT or a chip or something that we have limited space, so we have to carry out a some comparison or some operation with bitwise operation because this is more I would say low level stuff. So rarely do that really. Um, so additional method for integer type, yeah, again, this is like something that is come with the integer that you may not know, like bit length, oh, I don't care about bit length, but if you're doing something like IoT or stuff that like for a application that is supposed to run in a chip or like some IoT devices, then yeah, then this may be something that you would have to deal with. To bytes, from bytes. Again, this is more like low-level stuff that I rarely deal with. Floats, again, it got its own specific thing. You can change to integer ratio. You can also you can check whether a float actually is an integer, because it doesn't get any decimals. Um, yeah, some other things. I won't go through all of them. Hashing, you can also hash a numeric type because it's hashable, so you can hash it. So yeah, all of them has its own method of doing that. Uh, Iterator type, so you have the I think I have explained before that iterator type you have to have iter, this stuff. This explained in a more more accurate way and more details as well, so you can have a look. um, yeah, sequence operations. So so it's an abstract based class. We have come through that before. So this check whether whether something is a sequence. Um, list is a typical sequence. There are also other things as well. String is also a sequence. Um, Yeah, so you can check, you have all these operations that you can use with a sequence type. So if something in something, we have used it quite a lot actually, but you didn't know that it's only worked on sequence type and all this stuff. You just know that, oh, I can do that, but why? Because it's a sequence type and there's an operation that's written for sequence type, so that's why you can do that. Yeah. Um, Immutable sequence type. So it's tuple is an immutable list, right? So yeah, it's immutable and it's immutable of a sequence type, so it's an immutable sequence type. And also you can freeze a set, then a frozen set is immutable. So yeah, uh, mutable, yeah, is just the opposite. Yeah, so it's kind of like so sequence type you can divide them into mutable and non-mutable. So it's just like two. Yeah, list is a mutable sequence. Tuples is an immutable sequence. So yeah, it's just like that. Range is basically generated by the range, function, and it create a range type object. It's immutable sequence. Um, yeah, all this stuff. Text sequence, String has its own method. It got quite a lot of method actually, and it's quite useful. For example, capitalized, all this stuff. Center, yeah, it's kind of, you can actually put in some space, in front and behind a string to just make it center. It would be useful if you are creating some UI stuff, or like if you have your command line interface, if you prompt something, you want to have the right spacing for that. Or create ASCII art. I don't know. It's useful. And count, all this stuff. Find, yeah. This I think, yeah, this is more well known. Um, some of these is more well known. Is digit is really useful. Trust me. You can check whether a string is a digit, then you can see if you can change it into a integer. So it's lower, or this is, again, useful. Is space, right. I think its title is checking if like they are title case, which I think is capitalized. Is it at least one character? Yeah, so it looks like a title. I don't know you have like such a detail operations to check that. So yeah, yeah. Wow, there's lots of things. Yeah, so yeah, again, like split. Is this one like the split, the what's that, the strip, all these things? I think like we all know that if we have used Python. Yeah, you see split, and split is just like you split it. You can specify, but in general you split it at the spaces. Um, and strip is taking out of all these like trailing spaces. Or you can specify what you want to strip. So this is like stripping dot 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 like dot 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 and like .com, this stuff. Um, yeah, right. Yeah, you can make something a title, like title. I thought it's capitalized, but is yeah, I think it's different with capitalize. Um, yeah, I thought this is called capitalized, but it's called title. Okay, you're doing something every day. C fill, you can fill it with zeros. This is again useful if you have like I think what I can think of is like, for example, sometimes you have again, deal with data a lot. You have a CSV or something that you import, and then all this, someone made the mistake, so all these like, for example, a user ID or something that like all these trailing zeros become, they convert into an integer. So all these trailing zeros, it happens a lot in Excel. Come on, like all these trailing zeros are gone, and then how am I gonna do that? Well, you convert it into string, and then you do a Z view. This is, Python help you solve all this problem and save your life. This is great. And wow, it's already half an hour almost. Oh my god, I'm running out of time soon. Yeah, printf type, string formatting, all this stuff. Oh my god, I can't go into all the details. Okay, so shall we look at something that is new? Because like I think we know quite a lot of these, and then look at something new. And yeah, we have weak reference. Oh, okay. Yeah, this stuff again, like, uh, yeah. So it comes to referencing something that where the a hashable, if an object is hashable, yeah. Oh god, like all this. It's gonna take a lot of time to explain, is it? Yeah. So okay. So yeah, create weak reference to object. So a weak reference is not enough to keep an object alive. I think it's like stalling the address of it, right? When only remaining reference to reference, a weak reference. Garbage collection is free to destroy the ref and reuse its memory for something else. So if you point to an object by a weak reference, then basically it's not consider it to be in use. So the garbage collection can destroy it. So may return an object even if there's no. So it's basically just a pointer pointing to some addresses of an object. Yeah. Again, this is a rabbit hole of all these things, like how garbage collection work. Like, no, I'm not dealing with this today. Today's Valentine's Day. I would blow my mind. Uh, Types, yeah. Let's look at something that we haven't looked at before. I think math, I've talked about that as well. Yeah, these common thing. Let's not look at them. Let's look at Pickle. Have we looked at Pickle before? Yeah, I think I've never talked about Pickle before, so we can talk a little bit about it. Um, Yeah, the Pickle module basically, because Python is in memory, so every object that you create, or the Python object that you created in one section, it will get destroyed when you close the Python interface, or if you close, if you program finish running, or if you restart your kernel in your Jupyter notebook, so they will be gone. So how to persist that is to pickle them. That's one way of doing it. It's not the only way, and it's not the best way as well. It's case by case really. So it create a binary file, and it will just store somewhere. You can specify where to store it actually. There are other ways to do that as well. There's Marshall, which is also a standard library. So yeah, more primitive sterilization, and then Marshall support Pythons. Yeah, yeah, pyc file. So these are like the C extension for Python. So Marshall make it more useful for them as well. Yeah, so it says that like use Pickle, prefer Pickle rather than Marshall. Marshall is more for pyc. I won't go into these details, but most of the time, if you're just like lazy, you just want to, for example, you run some machine learning things that like you train it forever, and then you can like, for example, after 100 step or something, you may want to pickle something because it will pickle your result, because if your computer crash or running out of memory or anything wrong, then you don't want to lose all your effort. You can start from there because you can, load in the pickle again and start from there. Um, so another way to, to pickle stuff, like to save stuff, is to use JSON. Yeah, so, well, a lot of cases have to use JSON. So yeah, but JSON store things kind of like a dictionary, but like so it's text. So it's text. It's not binary. It's not like Pickle. Pickle is a binary object that is created, so it's human readable. Um, and yeah, so yeah, it's different. Desterilizing and trusted self. Yeah. So there's like it depends on your use case really. Data stream format. It's also data stream. Yeah, this is like I've never done this before. Maybe this is more advanced. You can have a look. I'm not going through that. Yeah, you can like pick a dump. So it's kind of like JSON dump. So it's just like save it to a file, uh, or save it as a binary string or something like that. Yeah, yeah. So it become a byte object if you use dumps, or dumps into a file. You can do that. You can load it in. Yeah. Okay. That's it for Pickle. There are a lot of debate of like what is the best method to save stuff. Pickle, some people said that it's not the best, but you can spend some time doing some research and find a way that is best for your use case. Um, and then also you can compress stuff, like zipping. So zlib, I think this is something that um, yeah. So zlib is a tool that is not necessarily like just for Python. It's a kind of a compressing uh, app or compressing thing. I don't know how you call them. Yeah, it's a library, but it's not just a Python library. I think is it? Let me have a look. Because I think I've seen that before. Like use it like other than Python before. I think. Well, this is super small. Well, okay. Uh, yeah. So it's something a tool for zipping things. Okay. It's the standard library in Python. So that's why we can use gzip to read and write gz file, which is super convenient. It's yeah, there's multiple compressing and compressing tools. So this is gzip files. So yeah, all these things. It's like yeah, it's just like how do you open the zip file and all stuff. So all these tools of all that. CSV. Yeah, so you can read a CSV. Yeah, and then it become like a reader, so it become an iterator. I think yeah, it become an iterator that you can loop through that and then get all the information in it. And then so it's like kind of like a stream that's coming in. Yeah, you can also write it as well. Just create a stream to write it line by line. Yeah, so it also become a dictionary, I think. Yeah, it become a dictionary if you make it a dictionary reader, so forth. And Excel, okay, Excel generated CSV file. So you can't read an Excel file, but you can read an Excel generated CSV because they look slightly different. I think. So yeah, sniffer. Yeah. Oh, you can also sniff. So like deduce the format of a CSV because like some CSV file they're not using comma. It's not that straight. Some of them use semicolon. Some of them use a tab. Or pipe. So yeah, sniffer let you like will guess what's the like how does it look like instead of just like well you can read in the first two line of the file and see how it looks like, but sniffer can handle it gracefully for you, and also it can tell you whether it has a header. So yeah, okay. It may be useful. Quote all, so all the fields will be quoted, I think. That's how you can do that. And, yeah, there are also all these stuff that you could, double quote and stuff, dialect. Yeah, this is quite cool. And it's kind of very sophisticated CSV reader already. Well, of course, it won't be like, well, a lot of, data scientists want to, put it into a pandas data frame, so maybe they would just use pandas. But I think under the hood, maybe pandas is using CSV as well because it's a really good tool. Um, Hashing, I'm not talking about that. Time. Yeah, have we talked about time? Yeah, daytime, all this stuff is really useful. I think time is more like, yeah, you use daytime more than time because time is more like, more system thing that rather than it's not that human readable. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so time in UTC, so it's like GMT time. Um, oh yeah, time dot sleep. Okay, this is basically pausing the program for how many seconds that you want. So this one I think is more commonly used. So I've used that as well. Um, String represented a time. Okay, so it's parsing a time. Yeah. So it's kind of like a parser. Yeah, this is quite cool. This like, Python has an internal datetime parser. This one, like, is already a time parser. You don't have to use date necessary. Of course, date is a very powerful tool. You can have time zone and all this stuff. But if you can't pip install date you can use this. This is time parser. It's already included here. Yeah. And yeah. You can also set the time zone and yep. So this like yeah. And this is like I think time dot tz set and then yeah I think it's just switch the time zone by using that. Yeah, I have to look at it in details, but yeah, there's a lot of gems hidden in instead the library. Like, why do you have to pip install stuff when you have so many stuff that you could use? Well, I know that we all pip install stuff because we want to do stuff, but but like yeah, standard library already provide a lot of things that you could use. Dates light. Uh, Time zone, yeah, you can even check a time zone whether they have daylight saving times and stuff. TZ names, like all this stuff, like it also got things to deal with time zones. It's quite powerful. Like in my point of view, maybe because I don't use time like in time zone that much, but for me it's already very good. All right. What else? C style parser for command line option. I'm not using those that much. Logging. Yeah, let's have a look. And it just lets you to I think it lets you to push the log in. Maybe this is not what yeah. Info. Message level info. Yeah, so all this stuff like treated as debug, logging levels, critical warnings. Yeah. I only use it like once, so I can't really like say a lot about it, but yeah, it kind of lets you handle all these things. And yeah, formatter, you can set the format and lock all your stuff into a file. Log record, yeah, you can record all the logs. So this is quite good. What else? We have 20 minutes left. Hmm. Not touching threading. I'm not so sure. Async IO. I think I've talked about that in my async tutorial. JSON as well. It's just like Pickle. You can dump and and load. Um. What else? What else? HTML parser. Oh, I'm interested to look at that. So can you? Okay, so you feed a parser that's of like an HTML. So basically, this is just an HTML file, but of course now it becomes a string. And then, okay, so what happens? So it's a HTML parser. They have customized it. So handle a start tag. So how do they do it? Encounter a start tag. So you would just say that it's okay. So it's just that when you see a tag, you can tell it to do something. Right. So this is just like printing everything out. Okay. And right. So it may not be very useful, but it's like it's good to build a tool, but it's not useful directly as a product itself, I think. Yeah. Yeah. I think like yeah, most people who yeah, maybe you won't be using this directly that much. Maybe XML, maybe that's like more useful. If I have an XML file, I want to parse it and then extract all the data from it and then maybe put it in a database. Then that would be very useful. It's good to know that. Um, see, common gateway interface support web browser. I want to have a look at what you can do with the web browser. um, okay, so you could use Python to open a web browser and open python.org. Open a new tab. Okay. Open new, so you can open new web browser. So for example, if you have an application that you want someone to visit a page or something, then you can open a browser, which is cool. Which is cool. Or you can also choose what web browser. Netscape. Who is still using Netscape? Um, yeah. Yeah. So you have all these Chromium, Chrome, and all these like common ones. Windows default, whatever Windows using. Safari, uh, Opera, Mozilla. Yeah, all this stuff. Browser control object. You can open the browser. Yeah. So this is. I think this is all you can do. Like, yeah. It's a handy little tool. Not crazily like impressive, but it's handy if you need it. A URL lib handling URLs. Yeah. For example, you can pause something, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess if you're dealing with URL, you already know this, so I won't go into details. And then, yes, Turtle. Turtle is a popular way introducing programming to kids. So basically, it's a tool to teach kids how to program, and it's included in the standard library, which is super cool. What you can do is that use Turtle to draw things. It's just basically like a cursor that you are controlling. So you can choose the color. Choose whether you're filling the color, and then you just like go forward, and then just turn left 170-degree, and then you just do all this stuff. So basically, you're driving this cursor back and forth, turning, and then it will draw something. Yeah, so these are all the commands to move and draw. And then, yeah, you can also see where the turtle is positioned, the stuff. Or you can use it to change between degrees and radian. Pen control, you can have pen up, pen down, because sometimes like you don't want to draw things with one stroke, right? You want to leave it up and then put it down again, so you can do that. Color control, filling, make it pretty visible. Yeah, yeah, animation control as well. Yeah, input. So yeah, you can spend all day playing with Turtle. To be honest, play it with your kids. I mean, like this is meant to be educational thing, and I think it's super cool that like Python like is so powerful and used by the industry, but it's built with these little things that's like for teaching kids. And oh, I get blue again. Yeah, for teaching kids, and then for yeah, for you know educational purpose. That's crazy. I think that's why we love Python, I guess. CMD. Yeah. What can you use it for? Do you have an example? Hello. Prompt. Huh. Okay. Intro. Example. Okay. So, turtle shell is using it with turtle. um. Okay. Do forward, do right. So I think this become a command, right? Yeah. Okay. So okay, turtle is the prompt. So it's like those three arrows in the Python prompt, and then basic turtle command. So these are commands. So these are playback. So all these are commands above all these. commands. So yeah, so basically you can type uh, help, but you can also type, record it, and then you can do like position, asking the position of it, and then you can be like circle, draw a circle at 20, I think. I don't know what's reset. Huh. Yeah. Circle. Draw a circle. Okay. Yeah. So these are the commands, and huh. So it's basically creating a command line tool. Um, well, of course you can just click to do that, and it also package it for you. But this is the built-in command line tool that it could do something. It will let you basically write a command line program, like no, not like program, but like a command line interface with your app. This is super cool, and then you can of course like do your thing. So you translate this command into a into something that you use it with Turtle. Home, go to so Turtle shell cmd.cmd Turtle import. So all these commands are import from Turtle, and then you just write all this command, and then once you so make it into a program, and then once you run it, it will run the cmd loop. So it will run this Turtle shell, and it would just, because it's inherit from CMD, so it would just run the CMD loop, and then it become a CMD interface. This is cool. This is cool. So you don't need click. You can use this. A lot of things you can basically it's a it's most of the thing you can already do it with standard library. It's just that if you want to be more fancy, you can pip install some other things. Type hinting, you can just type ping. I think we have done that before, so I'm not going to. PyDoc, have we looked at that? Yeah, it's something for documents. Yeah, it's for inspecting the documentation. So also 2 to 3, then you could can translate 2 to 3 examples. So it's basically a program included, so you can translate it. I think it's not perfect, but it would do more or less like 90%. I don't know, I've never used it, but maybe like it would finish part of the work for you. Yeah. What else? Test. Um, yeah, you can use test instead of PyTest. You can use UZ test. You don't need to use PyTest. What else? PDB. Yes, so it, like I said, it's a debugger. So invoke a script to debug, and then so this is how you set a breakpoint in. So like if you type this import pdb.set trace, if you put it somewhere in your program, then when you run it, it will just like uh, freeze in there, and then you can just like pdb, and then it become pdb, and then you can just check what's going on there, and check all your variables, are they having the correct value and all this stuff, so you can do all these things to see what's going on in your program. There are all these debugger commands. So this is a very helpful tool. I think not many people know it, but I don't know, like maybe people know it already, and I'm just talking bubbles. But VM is just a virtual environment that I think I've talked about that in my virtual environment episode, so I'm not going into detail. But it's just like something that you could already use. Like I've used that for a bit because I used to work in a company that they don't allow me to pip install anything. So I can't, I can't do all these crazy things, setting up a virtual env or whatever. So VM is the way to go. Then built-in objects. Yeah. Again, this is like this built-in objects that we have. You rarely use it. It's just that you could have a look at it. But there's not something trace back. we don't have much time left. What else can we? I think I've looked at all the things that I feel quite interested in. So, import lib. Yeah, let's have a look. Whoa, why there's so many pep there? Yeah, so the import here. So it's basically like the import function is here. Find loader. Yeah, this is more like meta thing for the import. Um, we have the zip import. Add the ability to import Python modules and package from zip format archive. So you can have like, yeah, something .zip, but inside if there's like a Python module, then you could import it, I think. This is, well, I rarely use it, but it's good to know that there's something like that exists. PyCompiler, yeah, all these stuff are crazy things that you could look at, but I think, yeah, not many people use them. Yeah, to dive into the internal of Python, I think that's worth another episode or like another time to do that. Um, yeah, I think that's it. We have looked at some of the interesting thing in the standard library. I would recommend you, for example, time it. I think a lot of Jupyter Notebook user use it already because you can import it and time how long your thing run. Yeah, so yeah, I think I would recommend you to go in and have a look because well, if you have time, if you're just like poking around, it's something good to do because you just know more about Python. And if one day suddenly, like me, you work for a company that doesn't allow you to pip install anything, then standard library is the way to go, and it actually can do more than you think you can do. So it's really good. So I think I will stop here today because I'm a bit tired. As you can see, I'm like yawning and stuff, and also I'm thirsty. I forgot my coffee. I need to get a coffee right now and maybe have some chocolate. So thank you for watching, and have a very nice Valentine's Day. Treat yourself, have some chocolate, make yourself a nice meal, whatever. And then I will see you next week. Okay, so see you soon. Bye.